Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday afternoon, May the 9th, 2021, Mother's Day. I'd like to welcome everyone to the show today. This will be my weekly update that I will be putting on YouTube, so I'd like to wish everyone Happy Mother's Day if you're a mother. And also we all have mothers, so we want to honor all the mothers. So we made it through another week. Hard to believe, but here we are still. You know, it's I think people are getting a little bit worn out with just plodding along, and anyway, we're still here. So we're going to look at methane today and do the weekly update with the sea ice. And I've got an article I'm going to share. In fact, I think I'm going to start off with the article. This is out of the Siberian Times. This from May the 4th. And it says, Ice on fire. First wildfires are registered around the world's pole of cold in Yakutia. This is in Russia. And so we're seeing similar things as what we've seen in the past. I did a video in January called Zombie Peat Fires, and I looked back through that, and this is in a different area in Siberia where the fires had been smoldering overnight underneath the snow, and now you can see the smoke coming up. Certain areas are actually on fire. So I will leave the link below. See, there's some stuff on fire. They've got firefighters out there. And see, there's this video is from February of 2021. And see these holes? This is where it's hot underneath the snow, and so it's peat, and it never went out. It just smoldered during the winter, and so it's melted up the snow, and there's smoke coming up. And we're going to be seeing more and more of this. Now I wanted to show you where this is. Here on Google Earth, the place that this is referring to today is Oymyakon, I think that's how you say it. And it's more north and east of where we reported back in January, and it's in this area here. This is Russia. It's Siberia, see? Now, where it was in January was further east, down here. Let's see if I can find it again. I had found it earlier. It's Sidey. Here we go, right down here. This is the Alden River, and it was this area in this little nook here, Sidey. This was one of the areas where it was burning in January. So this is northeast of that. And there's a lot of permafrost that's melting. And this kind of stuff is just going to be getting worse and worse, I'm afraid. So let's start with the NOAA methane data. This is from yesterday, May the 8th. This is the 477/469 millibar reading that I've been tracking. Here we have the Met-1 satellite in the morning. The mean or average was 1908 parts per billion. The high reading was 2359. In the afternoon, the mean was 1906. The high reading was 2337. On the Met-2 satellite in the morning, the mean was 1886. The high reading was 2370. And in the afternoon, the mean was 1888. The high reading was 2374. Here's the spreadsheet and chart. So the data for the 8th averages out to 1,897 parts per billion. That's showing a slight decrease over the week before of 0.5 parts per billion. And here on the chart you can see the blue line just ever so slightly moving down. And it had been going up how many weeks in a row here? Since the week of March the 13th. And actually before that there've only been a couple of weeks where it's gone down since the end of January. So since the week of March 20th it had been going up. So we needed it to go down. We shouldn't be seeing it going straight up. So we're up from a year ago. We're up 20.75 parts per billion. And since March the 1st of 2019, when I first started charting all of this, we've gone up 39.75 parts per billion. So here we can see what methane did during the week. Here it was on May the 1st, which was the day I reported on last week. It was at 1897.5. And we had gone up 0.75 last week overall. Then on Sunday it went up 0.25. On Monday it went down 0.5. Tuesday down 1.25. Wednesday down 0.5. Thursday down 0.5. Friday it turned around and started going back up. It went up 1.25. And Saturday it went up 0.5, giving us an overall, we're still half a part per billion lower than a week ago. And before we look at the CAMS data, I want to go ahead and show sulfur dioxide from today. Look at this high reading here in the middle of the North Atlantic. I'm thinking this is from plate movement. Also off the west coast of Peru, I'm thinking this is from plate movement. We've been seeing so many earthquakes and big ones and deep ones that these plates are moving around the planet. Here it is at 500 HPA, so here it shot straight up into the atmosphere. I heard something. It scared me. And then look at Hawaii. It's really given off. That's from volcanoes. There's that. Now we'll look at the CAMS data. This is from the Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Services website. I have Saturday the 8th pulled up, Arctic view and surface level ready. There's the color ledger. Now the data is for Saturday, and the forecast period runs Sunday through Thursday. I'm sorry, Sunday through Wednesday. We can see it's still billowing here at CAMS, and also it's coming up here in the North Kara Sea, and then it's streaming out across towards the North Pole and dissipating. See these waves of green moving across? This is methane coming up through the sea ice. You see these lighter greens here off the coast of Norway and Russia. This is methane coming up through the water here. This area in the North Atlantic off the coast of Canada, this is our problem spot. It keeps popping back up periodically. It's coming back to life. Now we'll go to the North Pole view. So here's Spain and Portugal, Europe. Here's the Germany area. It's filled up. See the UK and Ireland. Here's Norway and the Scandinavian countries. Then here's the Persian Gulf. See, that's pretty filled up. Here's India. Here's China, Southern Asia, and Japan. See the green wave moving out. Now, see this area here popping up in Siberia. I'm wondering if that's related to that area in the article. It could be. And then we've got North America here, pretty filled up from Texas over periodically. And it just depends on the day as to how bad the methane looks. Depends on the temperature, it depends on what kind of precipitation they've gotten, a whole bunch of different factors. And of course some days it doesn't look as bad as others, but we're seeing a lot in this Ohio Valley region. Anyway, we have certain areas that just pop up all the time, like West Texas, California, North Dakota, and it's different ones. Here down in Mexico, around Popocatépetl. Here's the global view. We can see that the purple is going away and being replaced with this dark blue color, which is a higher reading. The dark blue is 1800 parts per billion. That purplish color was 1780. And so you can even see in the forecast period, now watch the purple kind of fading out and the blue taking over. So this is showing methane on the rise. Then we'll see this light blue coming down and taking over the dark blue. That's the next thing we'll see, is the methane is coming up. Remember last summer where the whole bottom of the picture, it filled up with the light blue? You remember that? We'll do at least that this year, maybe more. Now here's the 500 HPA level. This correlates to the level that we're looking at on NOAA. Here's from India over across China, here's Japan, then red spread out over this northern area. And see the green coming further south. That's a sign of methane rising to where the higher colors, higher readings start spreading further south too. Here's total column. See, it's from India over across China and then southern Asia. We've got some red here over the Persian Gulf, and we've got red here over Peru and Colombia, between Peru and Colombia there. See this red-orange cloud? That'll be moving across the Pacific over to North America. While we're here, we haven't looked at carbon dioxide recently. Here's what it looks like now. It's see, it's even getting brown in the southern hemisphere. Remember when we used to have some blue-greens down here? Well, that's gone. It's now at least cream colored and moving into browns, and it's all so dark here from basically the equator up. So the northern hemisphere is much higher than the southern hemisphere. That's kind of how it collects. Plus, most of the industry and population are in the northern hemisphere, so the source of it is mostly in the northern hemisphere. Now let's move on. I'll get sea ice index up. Now I'll take you through the slideshow. Now you won't see a lot of difference on this Arctic sea ice and snow cover until we really start getting into heavy melt, which we haven't done yet. Mainly you'll see changes around the edges. Here's what it looks like today. We can see holes opening up here in the Bering Sea, and the Okhotsk Sea is thinning out. The Baffin Bay here in the southern part, that's along this Canadian coastline, especially, it's thinning out. We have just a little fringe of ice left here in the Barents Sea next to Novaya Zemlya. So let's go through and see how it's changed this week. Here we were last Sunday. So I'll just click through. Here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now you can start to see the retreat going on. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, like I said, around the edges is where you're mainly noticing it right now. Now we'll look at the models from the U.S. Navy website. This is sea ice thickness. This is the Arctic view for today. Now the dark purple is about 1 meter thick. The bright aqua is about 2 meters thick. The green is about 3 meters thick. And we don't have much thicker than that. The reds are 4 to 5 meters thick. So let's zoom in for today. Get a closer look. Now we can see this hole here by the nearest strait by Greenland. That's opening up more. There's a hole here opening up in quadrant 1. And the coastlines are opening up. So where you see the white, that's pretty much no sea ice. Where you see the purple or the lavender, that's where the ice has already pulled away or broken up along the coastlines. Here, see these white areas, that's where the ice is melted here in the Bering Sea. And we've got spots here along the Alaska and Canadian coastline where it's totally pulled away or gone away. And then here in the Hudson Bay, we can see on the east and west coast it's deteriorating. We're also starting to see some change in colors here in these tributaries in this Canadian archipelago. We're seeing some purple come in, so this is melting, and the dark aqua, so rather than bright aqua, so that's coming apart and melting as well. This is the 30-day animation. It goes back 3 weeks with the data, and the forecast goes out to the 15th. So 6 days out from now. So we'll zoom in and take a closer look at this. And you can see this Baffin Bay is really thinning out. here on the southern end along Canada. So the big changes you'll notice right off the bat will be around the edges. So this fringe around this west side of Novaya Zemlya, that's going to be dissipating. We can see along this Russia coastline here from the Barents Sea and the Kara Sea, that's going to be opening up quite a bit. Here in the Laptev Sea, again along these coastlines, that'll be opening up at around Severnaya Zemlya. And then further around. Now this area along the Siberia coastline and out, this is the East Siberian Arctic shelf, and in the sediment and the seafloor they've discovered huge methane deposits, especially here. This is one of the areas that's been tested quite a bit. But there are other areas, I mean, the methane is all the way through. But that's just one of the areas that they found huge pockets of methane, or huge areas. Let's see, it's coming away from Alaska now. Let's see. And here in the Yoko Sea, see, that's really melting. That never got real thick, so that'll be an area that'll go first. This is the Beaufort Sea. This is sea ice thickness. Here's Alaska at the bottom, Canada on the right. And so these purples, the light purple and the white, that's where the ice has already melted or come away from the coastline. So we've got some greens in here, which is about 3 meters thick. And then right along some of the coastline, it's up to 5 meters thick. Just a tiny bit, but very little, very, very little. And this is what's left of the thickest sea ice that was left over from last summer. It had been further to the east, and during the winter it moved down towards Alaska and became compressed, and is mainly in this Beaufort Sea area now. Here's the 30-day animation. Like I said, we're not seeing a lot of change yet. We're just starting to see the leads opening up some, and some melting around the coastlines. Now here is the Baffin Bay. Greenland's on the right. This is Canada on the left. Now see how this ice, it was out here last week, so it's really retreated. Here's the 30-day animation. Now remember the thickness chart is different here than from the Arctic sea ice. And this dark red is 2 meters thick rather than 5. The aqua is 0.8 meters thick rather than 2 meters thick, and so on. Here's the sea surface temperature for the Baffin Bay. So, if you remember from last week, it was starting to get some of this darker color, which is 4C temperature, but now it's really heating up. And the colors are moving in, and so that's, with the sea surface temperature warming like that, the ice doesn't have a chance. Here's the 30-day animation. Look how it just is filling in with this black. I wonder if it's really above 4C and we wouldn't know. It could be. Now we'll just take a peek at what the Antarctic is doing. Now it's dark down there, so the ice is refreezing. Here's what it looks like today. Now it's not very thick, but it is refreezing around the outside here. Here's the 30-day animation as to what it's doing. So we can see it really growing here in the Weddell Sea. See the extent here. A lot of just thickening down here on the southern end. There's that. Now we'll look at the National Snow and Ice Data Center. This is the concentration for yesterday. I've chosen the blue marble view. Now, why they've got some blue in here, I don't know. I'm not seeing ice on any of the models or on NASA Worldview there, so I don't know why that's blue there. But you can see it correlates to what we're seeing on the Navy website. The more blue, the thinner it is. Here's the sea ice extent chart or graph. This blue line is this year, this dotted line was 2012. And this solid gray line is the median or average between 1981 to 2010. So we're still below 2012 and below the average, and it went down this week. That's obvious. So we're still below everything. For this time of year. Here's the Antarctic. Here's the sea ice extent. Now it had started refreezing early, back at the end of February, 1st of March, and then it's run parallel with the average. And last year we were at a low. This dark kind of grayish green color is last year's ice. So we're higher than last year, and it's kind of running parallel. I told everyone last week that we'll be monitoring the Greenland ice sheet as well. No melt on the 8th. If there were surface melt, it would show up in that salmon color. Here are the melt days so far this year, and we're in the light blue, and see it's around the southern edges and western edge. So it looks like under 10 days. Some of it is like a darker blue. So 10, see right there on that eastern coastline. Here's the melt extent for this year. The red line is this year. The dotted line is the median. So we're right on line with the median. There we had it jumped up in April. It was melting pretty good there. So right now it doesn't show melting. Now we'll tour through Climate Reanalyzer. Here are the maximum temperatures for today. We can see some warmer air is coming into the Arctic region. Here's the hottest area over Africa and India, it looks like. Here's 2-meter temperature anomaly. Now look up here in Russia. See the red and reddish brown? It's actually raining up there. We'll look at that in a second. So that area looks like about 16 C higher than normal. Now there's a lot of permafrost across this area. So whenever you have temperatures like that with rain, that permafrost will start thawing, and we know what that means. Trouble. Trouble. Here we've got some browns over the Kara and Barents Sea coming across the Arctic, and then coming from Siberia across. Then we've got this cold air that came down through a hole in the jet stream, and it's coming down through Canada and pretty much covering all of the northern U.S. And in the Antarctic, this red area had been over here, over this western peninsula. Worldwide, we're up 0.1 C higher than normal. The northern hemisphere is up 0.6 C. The Arctic is up 1.5 C. The Antarctic is down 4.9 C lower than normal. Southern hemisphere is 0.5 C lower than normal. And the tropics are up 0.2 C. Here's precipitation and clouds. See this rain band coming all the way up through Russia, straight up there and into the Barents Sea. So that'll melt stuff off fast. Here we've got rain from Nebraska, Kansas, over east and through Texas too. That's in the U.S. And normally we don't see rain this far north. But, I mean, it can happen, and as things shift, we'll see more and more rain in areas we hadn't expected. Here are the jet pieces. It's all broken up. I don't call it a jet stream anymore. Here's where we can see the cold air coming down from the Arctic down into the U.S. See how wavy and broken it is? So here, the same thing, cold air coming down over Russia next to the warmer air that's got the rain. Here's the southern hemisphere. It's all broken up too. We saw sea ice and snow cover. Here's sea surface temperature anomaly. This is as of Friday. Here are the browns next to the blues. Here in the Barents Sea and the North Atlantic. Here it's brown moving into the reddish zone. Here in the Baffin Bay and around Greenland. And here in the North Atlantic off the coast of the U.S. and Canada, we've got the reds, and we've got some purples too, and we've got some pinks. The pink is 6C higher than normal. Now here's the flat view. This is still growing here off the coast of South America. I'm thinking this is going to turn into a big red blob down here. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. So worldwide we're up 0.3C higher than normal. Northern hemisphere is up 0.4C. North Atlantic is up 0.6C. North Pacific is up 0.3C. Southern Hemisphere is up 0.3C. Equatorial Pacific is down 0.1C. Now we'll move on to NASA Worldview. I'll refresh and get all the latest here. This is the Arctic. I just turned on the sea ice concentration layer. This layer shows us, see all the different colors, that's where it's melting or coming apart. So we can see here in the Baffin Bay, there's a lot of stuff going on. This is coming apart fast. Here in the Hudson Bay, same thing on the East Coast and West Coast especially. Here on the east side of Greenland, here, see it's coming apart. See these holes going to be opening up. Now here by Svalbard, it looks like we had gotten a little bit of refreeze on the extent here, but it's melting here by Novaya Zemlya. Here is the Yamal Peninsula. Now you see this area with nothing. That means that that's all open. There's no ice there. So that's already opened up in the Kara Sea. Here's some more holes in the Kara Sea. Here's Taimyr Peninsula. Here's the Laptev Sea. Here where the holes are starting to open up. And here along this Siberian coastline and next to Wrangel Island. Now here in the Bering Sea, see that's going fast, see. Same thing up here in the Sea of Okhotsk. See, it's already melted along this coastline here. So that's going fast. Now here by Alaska, here's a hole that's already opened up. See, that's disintegrating fast. Same thing here by Canada. See, this is already pulled away and opened up. And also down here, this is, I think this is the Mackenzie Bay. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see all of that. Now we'll go ahead and look at the ice. Starting here on the northwest corner of Greenland, this has opened up. See, here's the nearest strait. This whole area, see, there's no ice there. Same thing down here. And we're looking through some clouds. See here, you can see open water. That's coming apart pretty fast there. Now here in the Hudson Bay, we can see on the west coast, or west side, see, that's opened up. Here on the east side, that's opening up. Now here on this southern tip of Greenland, here's ice on this east side. Just see that little fringe. That'll be melting fast. Here's some fringe. And we're looking through clouds too. Here's this northeast corner. See, here's the ice. Here's just north of Greenland. Look at this long crack going all the way across. See, they go on and on and on. These leads are something else. Once you start following it, it goes on forever. See, this is coming apart. This is the North Pole, where all the lines come together. Here's Svalbard. Here's Franz Josef Land. Now it's hard to tell because of the cloud cover here what the ice looks like. Let's see what yesterday, if we can tell. No. Here's Novaya Zemlya. See the little fringe of ice? I mean, it's almost not there. But they count every single little minuscule part. Here's the Yamal Peninsula. Let's see if this is opened up. This is the Kara Sea. Here's Severnaya Zemlya, this group of islands. This is Komsomolets, and right around here is where we've been seeing the methane billowing up on CAMS, and also about down here in the North Kara Sea. See, that's breaking up fast. Look at that. And then going up. This is the Laptev Sea. Here's Taimyr Peninsula. Here's Laptev. Here's New Siberia Islands. Here's this big crack that's already pulled apart. Here's Wrangel Island. See, there's open water. Here's the Bering Strait. So look at the Bering Sea. See how that's just really coming apart fast. Here's Alaska. See all this open water. And then here, along the coastline. This is the Beaufort Sea. So here's where the thickest sea ice is residing right now, right in here. But we've got a hole opening up here, see? It's coming apart. Let's see all this open water here. And down here. This is under a cloud, but this is open water. Look at this. See, that's coming apart. See the leads. And here's Ellesmere Island. And we're back to where we started. So we're looking through a lot of clouds there. Let's see these cracks, they go so far. I know I showed that before, but it's just amazing to me. Now, right now we're getting good views of the sea ice, but once the sun gets up, straight up above, there will be so much reflection it'll be hard to see much, along with the clouds. Unless it just totally opens up with no ice, we'll see that. Now, we'll move into our earthquake part of the report. I took these pictures this afternoon. There were 255 of all magnitude worldwide here on USGS. In the lower 48 we had 143. Here in Southern California there were 35. The largest one was a 3.2 near Loma Linda. Searles Valley Ridgecrest is showing 14 today. Western Nevada over to Mammoth Lakes is showing 36, with the largest one being a 3.6 at Mena. There was a 4 something here yesterday. Here in the Reno area, we've got 3 west of Reno near Sierraville, 1.0, 1.4, and 1.0. And this area has been active the last few days, and we even had a 4.7 a couple of days ago here. We're not seeing anything in Lake Tahoe today, but we've been seeing a couple almost every day here in the middle of the lake. Here we're looking at San Francisco area along the San Andreas fault line. We've got 5 here today. The largest one is a 2.4 at Mura Beach. The geysers have 31 today. That's kind of an average number. Northern California, we have 3. A 1.6 near Shasta Lake. And that's north of Shasta Lake. 1.7 at Chester and a 1.9 at Shingletown. Here's the Pacific Northwest over to Yellowstone. There were 8 here. The largest one was, I think it was the largest, was this 2.5 near Bethel, just west of Seattle, southwest of Seattle. West Texas had 3 today, 3.0, 2.8, and 2.8. all south of Guadalupe Peak. Oklahoma had 1, a 1.9 at Waynoka, and Kansas had a 2.5 at Harrington. We've got a 2.6 near Knoxville, Tennessee. Puerto Rico has 13 today. We've got 1 in South America on the west coast of Chile at 4.4. Now, the sulfur dioxide we saw was up here, just west of Peru, right by this plate line. Here's Hawaii, 21, and they're clustering down here at Pahala. Alaska's showing 66. The largest was this 4.9 near McCarthy, Alaska. It was actually east of the Alaska line over in Canada. We've got 2 here in the Kuril Islands, just south of Kamchatka, Russia, 4.4 and a 4.8. Oh, that didn't show up. You know what? It's when they're updating the picture, when they're updating it, and I accidentally click it just at the right time, or the wrong time, the earthquakes don't show up. But there were 4 here. 4.4 Tual, Indonesia, 4.9 Panguna, Papua New Guinea, 4.6 Nusa Dua, Indonesia, and a 4.5 at Kokopo, Papua New Guinea. We have 2 in this picture, 4.4 at Kurog, Tajikistan, and a 4.2 in Iran on the east coast of the Persian Gulf, Bandar-e Ganava. And then in Africa, 4.5 at Lamborghini, Gabon. And that's all of those. So here's the ones in Indonesia that we had to use our imagination on. Now looking at the earthquake website, probably you haven't seen much change since I took those pictures. Here's a 3.3 at Chignik, Alaska, and we're seeing all these red dots. Those are new ones that are coming in. So see, they're coming in along the San Andreas fault line. So that's what I prepared for my report today. So I'm going to finish up by reading out of the Bible. Now I finished up Romans this week, and now we're on 1 Corinthians. And these are letters from Paul to the Corinthians, or the people at Corinth. First Corinthians chapter 2. And I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with excellence of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of God. For I determined not to know anything among you save Jesus Christ and him crucified. And I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. Howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world that come to naught. But we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which God ordained before the world unto our glory, which none of the princes of this world knew, for had they known it, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. But as it is written, Eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit, for the Spirit searcheth all things, yea, the deep things of God. For what man knoweth the things of a man, save the spirit of man which is in him? Even so, the things of God knoweth no man, but the Spirit of God. Now we have received, not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit which is of God, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of God. Which things also we speak, not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth, but which the Holy Ghost teacheth, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. But he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. For who hath known the mind of the Lord, that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ. 1 Corinthians chapter 2. And that's very important to realize, that if you're a believer in Jesus Christ and you follow him and become a disciple of him, you do learn to have the mind of Christ. Your thinking changes, your emotions change, everything changes, and it's a beautiful thing, because it prepares us for the heavenly realm. And once you have Jesus walking with you, it's a whole different experience here, and you don't get caught up in a lot of the stuff here, because the princes of this world are not heaven, not of God. They're not of God. The princes of this world are of the dark side. It's Satan. So it's a spiritual battle every day, every step of every day. And the more you realize that, and the more you realize that if you have the tools, and the tools are Jesus and God, and learning to walk with them, they are your shield, your buckler, everything. So I'm praying for everyone. I hope you have a good week, and just praying for everyone. If you haven't given your life to Jesus Christ, I recommend you do it now. No one knows the day or the hour. No one knows when your last breath will be. But the sooner you can walk with the Spirit of God, really the easier things can be in many, many, many ways. And it prepares you for the heavenly kingdoms. So until next time, God bless you. Go in peace. I love you all. I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.